This is not native, and at this point not naturalizing. I do see this coming up like in my garden. They all the time have seedlings coming up in this mulch here. So to me it tells me it's got the potential to like start showing up in woodlands, but it's not. So it's non-native. Super common ornamental. It's one of these, everybody wants, a Japanese maple in their yard. It's your classic landscape Japanese garden tree. I mean, that's, they plant this in Japan in all their famous gardens, and they've been doing it a long, long time. There are hundreds of varieties of this. So it's a little frustrating to teach because they all look very different. Okay, so I have to just kind of give you what do they have in common, right? So, of course, they're opposite. It is a maple, regular Acer. Right? They all have very, very deep sinuses and long lobes. Some, remember, so varieties, right? And they differ tremendously. Some of them have sinuses that go literally all the way into the center. I'll stop and show you one. So they're like this. They almost look like a compound leaf, like I just tore that, except the whole thing falls off, and it's not. They're all deeply lobed, okay, pretty much, and kind of star-shaped. It's almost like that sweet gum type of leaf. Colors, well, those vary tremendously from a full green one, which I find kind of boring. It's just a green, it's green like any old tree, to these reddish ones, to even deeper burgundy. That's a different variety there. Buds, that's something that's shouldn't surprise you. They do sort of have all this in common. They are a broad, I'll use my hands to show you this, kind of a broad triangular bud. Sugar maple is kind of like that, right? Really pointy, narrow, like an ice cream cone. This is like this, and you can pull. You may have to pluck the leaves. The leaves are still fairly tight on this thing. They're actually a little looser than they were Monday. But so here's some buds. Send around. Now, bud color. Well, bud scales are modified leaves. So the buds are going to be the color of the leaves. So a green-leafed variety has green buds. A very deep burgundy one has burgundy buds. They very, very often have two. Now, what's going on there? This is opposite. So what's missing? The terminal is missing. Yeah, they very often have no terminal. And then they end up growing where they come out and they fork. And then they fork again. They fork again. Which is a perfect question that leads us to the form. They do tend to have this same form. That starts out very narrow, and because of this forking, they go out dramatically in a V over and over and get wider and wider and wider because they kind of grow like that with those paired buds coming out. Bark is consistent across them all pretty much. It's kind of looks like beech from a very smooth, but if you get in there close and look, you'll see little cracks and splits. I didn't say ridges and furrows. They split, but then they fill in rapidly. So it stays pretty smooth, but you'll see splits in there that sort of make it look lined a little bit. It actually is a furrow, but it's as shallow as you can get and still be a furrow. So the fruit has a helicopter, right? Samara, right, like all of them. And they do produce fruit in the fall.